BBC Two.
The bots are back, and boy, have they been training. It's day 6 at Techno Games.
The biggest and the very best in the world of cybersports are revving up and getting ready for action. Getting ready for the biggest robot tournament ever. From the Technodrome at Shepperton Studios, we bring you Techno Games 2002.
Welcome back to the games. We've got all the action from a tough day's competition at the Technodrome, more swimming heats, more robo sprints, plus live action from the dramatic natural rope climb. Let's take a look at tonight's full menu.
We've got more strange swimmers in our pool today. The footballers fight for a final place. More grinding action in the tug of war. Poetry in motion with the gymnasts. Lots of strange scuttling, sprinting things. The shot putters return. And Skeletron, of course.
And once again on hand to give us their analysis, we've got our resident techsperts, computer science Professor Noel Sharkey and Professor Martin Smith of the University of Central England. First up today, just when you thought it was safe to go back to the pool, people started building large mechanical swimming machines. Yeah, we've got more heats in the swimming. Before we see the best of today's races, here's a reminder of last week when we found a brand new world record holder.
And it came from the Hales team from Eastbourne with Doggy Paddle Deluxe. Kept a straight course, lived up to its title, and won in an astonishing time of 16.34. In contrasting style, this is what happened earlier today when Molly Nessie Green from the Hazel Grove High School in Stockport made her way sedately down the pool with a finishing time of 41.3, with Barking Abbey School's Bermuda eventually escaping from its own triangle. And in another heat, Tango kept Harrow School in the competition. They'd already lost Calypso, you may remember, by winning its heat after a game performance from Leggy Peggy from Paynton in Devon, who at one stage seemed likely to overtake it, but in the end had to settle for second place. Tango the winner, 21.07, Leggy Peggy, 22.03. Bermuda included among the qualifiers by being closest to Molly Nessie Green. So to the day's featured race, which from Lane 1 had Quack 1, entered by a father-son and the son's friend, and they all come from Salisbury in Wiltshire. In Lane 2, Marlin, father-son and grandson here from Warwick. In Lane 3, Turtle Duck, a father and two sons from Bringstye in Worcestershire, a robot built, as you see, in precisely 1 week. Swimmersaurus took 6 weeks to build and is entered by a teacher and pupils of Yarm School on Teesside. And in the outside lane, the delightfully named Sir Rowboat Sinks-A-Lot, put together by the Sawtree Community College in Cambridgeshire. The lane to watch is Lane 2, with Marlin setting a tremendous pace. From halfway down the pool, it was against the clock. The world record to beat, as you see, 16.34, and it beats it comprehensively, 11.47. Victory for Marlin. Turtle Duck taking the second qualifying place. The story was all about Marlin, another world record. What a final in prospect.
Call me old-fashioned, but I think we could be looking at the new gold medalist, even before we even got to the event. That was incredibly fast, gentlemen.
Yes, well, I don't know what the time was. We didn't hear, but...
well, I'll tell you what the time is. The time is 11.4.
11.4?
It is a new world record at this moment in time. Awesome piece of kit, that.
Don't write off Doggy Paddle yet, but there are the 4 fastest qualifiers. 11.47, new world record from Marlin.
A monster like Marlin cruised through the water.
That was incredible, though. We've never seen anything like that before. I mean, 11.47 seconds. I was just saying earlier that, you know, we wouldn't beat 16 seconds this time, but 11.47 seconds.
So
More like a rocket race,
absolutely,
isn't it?
Looks so impressive, didn't it? That bow wave coming off the front.
You were saying, leaving the others in
absolutely, brilliant.
All the boys were rooting for the blonde, weren't they, in that last race? Leggy Peggy riding the bow wave.
She was really cute. She was really cute.
She was more than cute, though. She was brains as well, wasn't she? Because she had a really good speed.
As all blondes are.
Yes.
While you were watching the blonde, though, all the women were thinking size does matter, because Tango
Tango slipped
stormed
through,
in at 21:07 and won.
Yes.
And that was the Calypso boys.
It's a big Calypso,
broke the
isn't
record
it?
last
Yes,
year.
yes, it is.
We'll be back in the pool for tomorrow's semis. But next up, we're going live down to the Technodrome football pitch for the hotly anticipated second soccer semi. But first, let's see how the semi-finalists got here.
It's a good run-in by AAT to open the goal scoring. And it's another goal. The ball is going to run over the line. Snowstorm and a fine goal. Snowstorm again. Yes, it's gone in. And a hat-trick. And the defender in trouble again. And once again, it's Snowstorm. A fourth goal.
So let's go live now to Andy in the Technodrome. How's the atmosphere down there, then?
You can cut the atmosphere of a wet stick of celery. It's very tense here, Philippa, very tense indeed. I do like me footy, I really do.
See, I don't like football. I hate football, in fact, but this football I like.
It's very good football here, and this is the big one, because one of these teams will be going through to our final. First of all, I want to introduce you to the Cat Whiskers and Snowstorm team. Cat Whiskers didn't really do much in the first heat, did you really?
We were staying back by the goal to protect the goal. Defending
well. I have to say, I hope you do score some goals, because your victory dances are going to be seen to be released. Very good indeed. And Snowstorm, you're very aggressive.
Very aggressive, yes.
Remember, it's not meant to be a contact sport, it's football, OK?
All's fair in love and football, isn't it?
Lovely. It's very Vinnie Jones style-y.
Very Vinnie Jones style,
you're getting your studs and you're letting them know you're there. Confident about going through to the final here?
Very confident, yeah.
Very confident indeed. Well, they will be up against this team. First of all, we will go to AAT. The strengths of your robot, what are they?
It's mainly that it's quite quick and very agile and very easy to drive.
And over here, we've got Savage Toaster. I mean, you weren't doing much at all in the heat, and then you popped up and got a goal, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, we're doing our job, staying back and defending, so we took the opportunity to score goals.
And you never know, you could be through to the final. So, Philippa, those are the teams. One of them will be going through to the final.
Thank you very much, Andy. And after they finish that, they're all going off to do a fashion show. Now it's over to your match commentator, Mr. Barry Davis.
So, final check on the two lineups. Cat's Whiskers in red and Snowstorm in white. Playing from left to right, and Savage Toaster in yellow and AAT in a sort of olive green.
Teams, activate your machines.
Referee gets the game underway, and in immediately comes Snowstorm. Good chance for the ball, but not too much control. Toaster now trying to defend, in a bit of trouble here. They're all spinning, the ball's right on the line, and eventually it's an own goal. Conceded by AAT, but the opening goal for Cat's Whiskers and Snowstorm scored for them. Off we go again. Again, it's Snowstorm who's clinging to the ball. Good defending, no, he couldn't keep it out. The Savage Toaster didn't get the tackle in, got the player, didn't get the ball. Good start for Cat's Whiskers and Snowstorm, the very aggressive Snowstorm. But he's missed out there, rather hacking away. But good play this by Savage Toaster. Toaster, he's found a bit of room down the right side. Lovely, oh, he scored from an impossible angle. 2-1. Best quality play so far by the Toaster. I think Ryan Giggs would have been very happy with that sort of control. And scoring from the angle. 2-1, game on. Toaster going again, but Snowstorm's so determined, he's almost knocking the goal over. It's gone in off Toaster. Not the sort of defending that Alan Hansen would approve of. Should have covered the post, but failed to do so. Savage Toaster. In goes Snowstorm again. Again, Savage Toaster defending on its own. Back goes Cat's Whiskers to defend, and does nothing about it. An appalling piece of play by Cat's Whiskers. Got back to cover and simply allowed the ball to go between him and the goalpost. 3-2. Again, a questionable piece of play by Snowstorm. Looked like a tackle off the ball to me. AAG trying to play the ball across. Really was a lovely pass, invited the finish, but Savage Toaster couldn't get anywhere near it. Without a play at the far end as we looked at the replay, picked up by Cat's Whisker. Is it going to go? Yes, it is. 4-2, again the 2-goal advantage for Whiskers and Storm. And the best piece of play we've seen from Cats Whiskers. Nice control in the midfield, tried to play it forward, was blocked by Savage Toaster, who then couldn't get back to recover. Termination again from Snowstorm. 2 going for the same ball there, really. AT and Savage Toaster. Toaster trying for another one of those runs down the right wing, which will be the feature of this contest. Back comes Snowstorm to defend, making life very difficult for himself. Danger here, and eventually another own goal in of Snowstorm. Some of the control a little questionable, and that's certainly, I'm surprised the referee didn't show a yellow card there for that challenge. Again, Snowstorm, so determined. Nice turn, beautiful control. Star of the show, Snowstorm, certainly the most aggressive player on the pitch. And showing nice control there, having won the ball. Determination took him through. And look at this clever little flick at the end to make the final score 5-3.
What a game! Thrills and spills in that semi-final. Fantastic.
It's good, wasn't it?
What nice little tactic for the kick-off.
Yeah, straight off from the whistle. Try and chip the ball over the opposition, and then follow it through into the net.
Let's be honest here, right? Between me and you, no, it's a one-man team, isn't it?
Not really, no.
They don't do anything. You score the goals.
They scored a goal as well.
One goal. Well, one goal. And they may have scored one goal, but you let one bad goal in as well, though, didn't you?
That was some poor defending.
Listen, you carry on scoring and you practice your defending, okay? Okay, so these are the team that are going through to the final.
And in the final, they will play Sprocket Storm Chaser. The battle for bronze is Big Bro and British Bulldog against AAT and Savage Toaster.
So, gentlemen, it would be rather nice to get some football. Honestly, what does it do to men? Look at them. It'd be quite nice to get some technical rundowns on why those robots won then.
Well, Snowstorm is not only about the most manoeuvrable because of its differential drive, it's also the most powerful there at about 3 kilowatts. Cat's Whiskers about 2 kilowatts, but has very little directional control.
Snowstorm could have done much, much better if it had something in the way of blocking the ball, because you saw the ball going over its top all the time. I think the highlight of that match, there was Toaster grabbing the ball straight down the right wing in a very surreal way and smacked into the back. But that was, I think that was the best match to date. That was a really fine match there. It's just, you know, did proud for a semi-final.
And what about the final? I mean, looking at the technical specs, which is your job, who's going to win?
Well, Snowstorm.
Snowstorm's got the power to knock them out of the way.
And the control.
But he doesn't have the little flappy things.
But he doesn't have the little flappy things.
So that's the expert opinion, is
Absolutely,
it?
yes. The technical term is the little flappy
The
things.
little flappy things lead to victory.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. And we'll have the football final live for you on Wednesday's programme. Sprocket and Storm Chaser versus the Cat's Whiskers and Snowstorm. Very much the Brazil versus Italy of the robot world. Plus, remember, more live semi-final action later in today's show from the rope climb. But up next, an event that mixes the pure power needed to pull a rope with the mental agility needed to pull a rope. OK, it's not one for the intellectuals, but the tug-of-war looks like a fascinating battle.
Yes, it's the ultimate pulling contest, and I'm not talking about the crew on a Saturday night out. Now, one of the robots will be attached to this end of the rope, the other over there. They'll have 1 minute to show us their traction control. The top 4 go through to the semi-finals. The others, hopefully, will end up down there.
The first contest is Chip from Denbighshire in Wales, captained by Ron Jones, including his son Gareth, and Tom Ross, an engineer, against British Bulldog, Tony Summerfield, his son Robert, and friend Christian Smith.
Power up.
So, under orders, Chip to the left, British Bulldog to the right, British Bulldog with the early advantage, Chip trying to put the anchors on, but the pulling continues. British Bulldog backing away, taking Chip with it, right to the brink, but now a little bit of reverse comes into it. It's still in favour of British Bulldog. Chip right on the edge of the pit, holding, but time running out, and British Bulldog adjudged the winner. We've come to the end of 1 minute, and Chip clearly nearer the pit. British Bulldog with the advantage really right from the word go. Chip doing its best to resist, just had a moment of pullback, but ending up on the edge of the pit. British Bulldog through to the semi-finals on the time limit rule. Now it's Mighty Mouse, the Wright family from Clifton in Nottinghamshire against Big Bro, the Watts family from Brighton. Big Bro immediately with the pull, and into the pit goes Mighty Mouse. Nothing could be done to avoid the fall. Big Bro in total control and looking a strong favourite to win this competition. Through to the semi-final round in precisely 2.22 seconds.
What's important about this event, do you think? Why is it a good event?
Because it's that design compromise between power, gearing, torque, weight, grip, all those things, you've got to get the right balance of them. So just
when those little robots are there trembling at the strain of it, that's what's going on.
Yes, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Movement.
Thanks, guys. And we'll be back with those who make war by tugging tomorrow. But right now, it's final time. Yes, it's the speed, style, and sheer metallic elegance of robot gymnastics. And last year's gold medalist, Flip Flop, is back to defend its title. Let's take a look at the champion in action.
And this is Flip Flop.
Chosen a fast-paced music here. Energetic routine. Showing some excellent somersaulting abilities.
10 others joined Flip Flop in this year's competition. Bugs from Oxfordshire managed a total of 22 points. Fourth place, Rob Roy McPaulus, entering for the second year, finished 1 point behind in fifth. And this was Monty, who shared fourth place with 22 points. Disco Diva, 7 points in all categories for a joint fifth place. Ernie did well on the high bar, though a judge not quite so good at artistic interpretation. It did become a little repetitive. Whereas Eric scored better on imagination, but also suffered from lack of artistic interpretation. Not so good this year. Flip Flop maybe needed a change in routine from the previous year. But this was a very clever performance by Cyber Bees, a pre-choreographed routine, 3 microcontroller-driven wheeled buggies, and they performed very well in unison to share the bronze medal. And they shared it with a totally different robot, Sumo, which had a spherical circuit controls actuators, and took the eye of Jessica Dobson, who was one of its owners. Very pleased to get the bronze medal. When it came to originality, innovation, this one took a bit of beating.
Check out Cold Thursday. This is a fantastic little robot. It uses a photoelectric sensor to constantly search for black. That, coupled with an onboard timer, enables it to complete a very jazzy dart sequence on a raised black beam.
And it's often felt that the beam is the most difficult piece of apparatus for women gymnasts. But this performance produced a 9 for innovation, a 9 for imagination, and an 8 for artistic interpretation. And the silver medal for the Rolfe family, Kevin, Martin, and Simon. Very well appreciated routine. But the gold medal would go elsewhere. In spite of the crowd's applause, the judges went for IO from Warwickshire, James Hawkridge and Maureen Hawkridge, and girlfriend Sarah Swindlehurst. Secret of the performance, microprocessor controls. Added to that, very flexible spine, mounted on a circular base. Choice of music important, and Mum made that decision. Very artistic performance for 9s across the board. Innovation, imagination, artistic interpretation. And artistic she was to the end. 27 points for the gold medal, with Cold Thursday a point behind for the silver, and Cyber Bees and Sumo on 24, sharing the bronze.
So we have with us our gold medal winners, who looked really, really shocked. How did you feel, Jim, particularly you? You looked really shocked when they announced that you'd won.
I know, I was actually quite pleased.
Yeah.
Yes, I just really wasn't expecting it, basically.
We loved it up here.
Yes, we did.
Noel and Martin, you've got lots of comments to make, I know. What did you find particularly clever?
Well, it was really beautiful for a start and made with really interesting materials. But the bit I liked best was the way you've used the pipe bending material as the flexible spine.
We wanted it to be more organic than robotic, so
yes.
It sort of gave an impression of sort of a lifelike creature rather than just being sort of mechanical.
Well, it worked, and it worked a treat. Thank you very much. We saw lots of other robots in there, though, didn't we? What were your favourites?
I think my favourite would have been Cold Thursday. Mainly because of not just the aesthetics and because it did an Irish jig, but because it was the only one using sensors.
So the technology that it used to stick to that black beam, which it did rigidly, was what was impressive there?
Well, it was more the contrast between the black and white, so it noticed that it had gone from white to black, and that would cause a different routine to be initiated in the programme. It was very, very clever how they synchronised it. I mean, they synchronised it with the music. They actually took the waveform of the music, downloaded it onto a PC and marked it, and then used that to control the behaviour of the robot.
So for some it was a happy coincidence, but they really went for it.
Yes.
Okay, Noel, Martin, thank you very much. Our winners, congratulations. And of course, like every other team at the Games, they'll be challenging for the National Endowment for Science, Technology and the Arts, Nesta's special prize for the most innovative robot scene at the Games. This year, the winning tech team will be off to Switzerland for the world's foremost robotics fair. But right now, it's time for more speed freakery. In the lightweight sprints, let's see how the pace was set in the first heats last Thursday.
Well, slightly mad maybe, but Daisy did a good job, coming in a time of 1:29.31. Is the world record in danger? Oh, and it could be a tremendous start by Scuttle. Little trouble with the steering, but even so, coming home and beating it by a clear second.
Now, for the best of today's action, let's join Barry Davis.
Well, you'll probably remember Cheeky Boy 1 from last year, won the Nesta prize as the best overall robot. Today was the other side of the coin. It started very well, and then took a course of its own. Nothing could be done about it, and as a result, Jimmy Struts from High Wycombe, Buckinghamshire, came home to win the heat in a time of 51.81. So for the second heat, with Bumble from Highfield School in Matlock taking Simon's eye.
Hey, I'm here with Bumble. This is a cam-driven hexapod walker. And sort of what that means is there's 3 legs in contact with the ground at any one time. Now, you might think by looking at it that the legs swing on an arc here at the hip, but no, it doesn't. The hip joints are slotted and the back of the leg runs on an elliptical cam. This means the feet can actually run in a straight line. This saves a lot of energy and gives a smoother ride. Steering is obtained by actually tilting the running mechanism within the chassis. Now, if you'd like to find out more information on how this hexapod walker was constructed, then visit the BBC Robot World website at www.bbc.co.uk/robots.
So Mammoth, as you saw, in lane 1, the invention of 6th form pupils at the school. And alongside them, another school team, this time the Blessed Edward Old Corn High School from Worcester. Teacher and pupils there. Then 2 family teams, Mammoth, first-time competitors from Rayleigh in Essex. And on the far side, Octobot, comes from Abingdon in Oxfordshire, father and daughter together.
Power up.
Mammoth away first, but Bumble away quicker. Looks like Simon has got it right again. Bumble streaking down. Oh no! But suddenly stops. What, a foot short of the finishing line. The only competition is coming from Mammoth, whose course is a little wayward. but the sensors can't work out for Bumble where it's got to go, and Mammoth is going to win this. What a shame for Bumble, but they won't be complaining in Rayleigh. But what stung Bumble? Why did it suddenly turn around and go backwards and allow Mammoth to win? Has to be a steward's inquiry, surely.
This is the great thing about Techno Games and roboteering. Anything can happen. Bumblebot, let's face it, you were the red hot favourites for this round.
Yes, sadly, I think we lost radio contact with our robot.
But you were that far away from the finishing line.
Yes, we were egging it on, but it didn't quite go there.
Will you be back next year?
We certainly will be, yes.
You'll be back for the next games, yeah?
Absolutely.
Well, listen, team, I'll say goodbye now, because now I have to go all the way over here to the people that are through to the next round. Obviously an Italian team. Can you believe that?
No, not at all. Bumble is a really nicely made robot. It's beautifully engineered. Mammoth is a triathlete. We've been in the swimming and the cycling. But I mean, it just pods along.
It's worked. You're through to the next round.
Yeah.
Realistically, optimistic about the next round.
Well, we're the first robot ever to complete the swimming and the sprint to have finished the race. So to be this far already is great. We've won already. We've finished the course. That's a first.
It's a very talented robot. It is a very talented robot, and you never know, it could win you a medal.
We hope so.
Fingers crossed.
The suggestion would be silver or bronze as we check the qualifiers for the semi-finals, the 5 heat winners and the 3 fastest losers. Clear favourite, Scuttle, the world record breaker.
Now, one of these days I might just burst out singing. And surprise, surprise, by Still of Black, because they were 2 races full of excitement and full of surprises. First big surprise, of course, huge surprise, was that Mammoth got through.
Yes, it's quite remarkable.
You remind us why you two love Mammoth.
Well, because it's attempting the triathlon, and nobody's ever tried that before. We'd like to see a lot of that.
You have to make many design compromises if you're going to go in for 3 events, so it's never going to be as good as the others at any one of them. So it's a brave thing to do.
But they didn't make design compromises. They essentially stuck little flappers on the end of their legs for the swimming, because it's built for sprinting. And we saw the fiasco from the cycling.
The cycling.
Yes.
And they also
if that wasn't a design compromise, I don't know what it is actually.
But that's
it
because
wasn't
he
the design
fell
of
on
the robot.
He tore his trousers and fell on it.
Well, it's a very robust robot.
However, poor man, he's never going to live that down. But now they come in first.
Yes.
Fantastic news. Second was Eruptor. Bumble, though, was a big disappointment.
Very big disappointment.
Beautifully made machine. Very unlucky, but he didn't have very much steering.
You've nicked a leg off Bumble, haven't you?
I have nicked a leg off Bumble.
Would you like
me to show it?
Yeah,
I've got it
because I'd like to
hidden
know
here
exactly why
under
it's
the
such a
table.
wonderful machine.
The leg goes up and down and backwards and forwards, but it also goes inwards and outwards on this beautiful machined groove. I think it's just so elegant, and it's made of a special plastic. It takes a great deal of pressure and force, but it's still very, very frictionless, friction-free.
Also, it all works on one motor. So it's just 2 cams. There's one motor working both sides, so it's nicely synchronised and it stays stable and synchronised.
So what on earth went wrong?
Well, they use a rocking motion to steer it, but that's not what the problem was. What it seems to have been was some sort of aerial glitch. They think that their aerial might be too short, or that there might be some sort of radio glitch in that. It wasn't responding properly to
But there's very limited steering here, because it's one motor.
Okay, and it ended up in this side. What a shame. And then we had Jimmy Struts win the next heat, which we were all excited about as well, because again, it was a surprise.
Yes, it was.
The big surprise being that Cheeky Boy didn't win.
Yes.
Why not? What went wrong there?
He got stuck in the wall, essentially. I mean, if the wall had been...
Not there.
Well, if the wall had been taller, or the wall hadn't been able to move, because if you notice there, he was stuck on the wall, and every time he tried to get off it, because it's quite a powerful little robot, it kept taking the wall with it.
Very, very disappointing. Silver last year, Nestor Award winner, trips to Japan. He's used to the high life, not going out in the first heat.
Well, there won't be any high life this year, I'm afraid.
Absolutely none, but hopefully there will be for Jimmy Struts.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. And remember, you can get all your robo facts and figures, hips, as well as checking out featured Techno Games competitors at the Robot World website. The next event takes us beyond the realm of the Technodrome. After last year's outstanding, not to say life-threatening achievements, it was decided the throwbots of the shot put would be safest and the happiest in a field. Nevertheless, a crowd gathered around the plasma screen here to see the event relayed. Andy had a look at the event before the metal started flying.
Now, this is one of my favourite events because it asks the question, why lift up heavy weights when you can get a robot to do it for you? What our roboteers have to do is take one of these shots, which weighs about 7 kilograms, and hurl it as far as they can. They get one attempt today and a second later on in the series. Now, over here, we have the current Techno Games world record of 15.13 metres. I was going to demonstrate today how I personally could beat this, but owing to the fact we're running out of time, this is heavy and my shoulder's hurting, I'm not going to. Anyway, time for the games to begin, so over to Barry.
So the first competitor, Sir Lobalot, teacher and 2 pupils from the Blessed Edward Alcorn High School in Worcester. They have thrown 20 metres in practice. First attempt looks just a bit short of 15.
$14.6.
14.6 from what is basically a triangular wooden catapult. More power to come. On to a family team. Brian, the grandfather, Michelle and Rachel with his 2 granddaughters. They competed in this event last year. Indeed, won silver in the solar challenge. Not quite so successful in the shot put. But they've got good height here and good distance, and they might well have a new world record. Standing at 15.1. Look to be a little bit further than that. Huge height. And more distance to come, you would think, from that height.
15.6.
15.6. It is a new world record. And a 1 metre advantage over Sir Lobalot.
Hello, we're the team from Plantsbrook School in Sutton Coldfield. Myself, Graham, Andrew and his son, Mark. This is our machine, Ballistering Lead Better by Far. It works on the principle of stretch springs, accelerating a carriage up a rail, and hopefully the ball's going to leave at high speed. In practice, we've scored about 15 to 16 metres, but we're hoping for a little bit more today.
Well, Andrew should know. He was on the winning team last year. What now from Ballisteringly Better by Far? Well, it's certainly by far. It's annihilated the world record. Springs flying in all directions, but the shot flew high and long. It's over 25 metres.
26.8.
26.8. Well, they've lived up to their name. It certainly was Ballisteringly Better by Far.
Hello, my name's Roy. This is James and Andrew, and we're all from Bishop Vees Grammar School in Sutton Coldfield. We've brought our robot today, the Super Slinger, which won the gold medal last year. Due to the specifications, the changes, we've had to use springs instead of the shot cord, but we're still hoping for a really good event. We should manage around about 30 metres.
That, of course, would double their distance of last year, but they need it to take the lead. But they seem to be taking off some of the springs.
We haven't fully tested the safety pin, so that's, we're a bit worried that if you put all the springs on at the moment, that it won't release.
Understandable concern in the camp. I mean, basically, have they taken enough springs off? Sadly, the answer seems to be no. Not firing, so they have to abort and see if they can get it right for the second attempt.
Hi, I'm Paul.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Gary. We're Team Total Recoil, and we're all from Leicester. We've done 26 metres in tests. That was about a week ago. We put a slightly longer spring in since then, and we're hoping for something over that.
So can this team from Nottinghamshire get it together? They can indeed, just on the 30-metre line. The world record surpassed again. Fair amount of vibration, but huge distance. And seemed to me to land right on the line.
30 metres.
And it did land right on the line, 30 metres. All smiles, deserved applause. The world record beaten 3 times. And 30 metres is the new mark, with round 2 still to come.
Well, I don't know if much will ever beat that then. The shot put first throws and the record's already been doubled.
Amazing, wasn't
Quite
it?
incredible by total recoil there. Did you think that would happen this year?
Well, I think we both predicted last year that it was likely to happen, that the shot put would be very, very long eventually.
But Super Slinger, complete and utter failure. That's what we've seen from them. I mean, they've got another throw to come, but this first throw is disastrous, and they were the record holders.
Yeah, they're storing far too much energy. I mean, they're capable of storing even more. You could put 28 springs on in there, but they can't get the pin out.
No.
So what they're going to have to do is take some springs off and optimise the performance that way.
It's really the release mechanism. You could store a lot more energy if they wanted to, but the trouble is, unless you have a low, very, very low friction release mechanism, if you want to store an awful lot of energy and still be able to release it without pulling the machine over, you've got to have a very cunning mechanism. And they've concentrated on how to store energy, but not concentrated on how to release it easily.
Thanks, guys. Now, in a moment, we've got live coverage of the natural rope climb semi-finals for you. But first, we can see what happened in today's final of the artificial rope climb discipline. Remember, this is the freestyle event when it's just speed that counts. Any climbing technique is allowed. So this is how it looked last year.
Sender away the quick up, and here comes High Climber. And High Climber the winner, 2.97. And the sender in the end, well beaten, got the boost at the start, but not at the finish. High Climber.
Barry watched this year's climbers who were trying to top that record.
The successor to last year's winner, High Climber 2, back to defend. But Hockerill Anglo-European College enter Excalibur. So quite a test here for the Highfield school team.
Artificial rope climbers, they don't get much more serious than this. High Climber 2 just blows me away. 80% of this machine is batteries and motors. When John hits the throttle, this machine, these batteries dump 2 kilowatts of energy into these 3 motors. This is just... I'm speechless.
Power up.
Defending champion on the right. Oh, my goodness me. A new world record, 1.027. And Excalibur, X-rated, didn't move. Grease lightning, I think you call that. So gold medals retained, but how on earth can they beat that time?
So this is the High Climber 2 robot, and John, the brains behind the bot. There are 2 people over there drooling over this robot. Look at them, they love it. They've gone all glossy-eyed.
What I liked about this particular robot was the technique you used for making it. You did a very thorough mathematical analysis on a spreadsheet on a computer, didn't you?
That's right. We modelled the performance of the motors and the performance of the batteries, and we also modelled the friction of the climber on the rope. And putting all of these things together, the spreadsheet evaluates how quickly it's going to climb.
And you were able to compare your measured times and draw a graph and compare that with the graph of your calculated times, am I right?
Yes, that's right.
How does that help?
It's like making 100 robots a minute or something like that. You can just keep trying out new ideas, one after the other, very, very quickly, without making a new robot to try out each new idea.
And often before in this program you said test, test, test.
Yes.
It's the equivalent of a good test.
Yes, you can test in simulation on a computer if you've made a good mathematical model of your robot.
Thanks, guys. Now, in a moment, we'll be able to go over to the second of the natural rope climb semi-finals. But first, let's take a look at how the contenders made it this far up the greasy pole.
Streaker inching its way up the rope. The classic style of climbing from Skeletron. A bit of a wiggly worm up the rope, the sender too, but very effective. And just look at RC1 go, it's eating up the rope. The world record in severe danger.
And now we can join Barry Davies to take a look at what happened in the first of the day's vital natural rope climb semis.
Streaker with teacher and pupils from the Rydale School in Yorkshire, very much the outsider, 57.5 in their heat, as opposed to 9.15 from the father and son team from Norfolk. He's a partner in classic car spares business. He's got a classic here, I think. We shall see.
Power up.
And away goes RC1, jerky style, but eating up the rope, definitely going to be the winner. Rather more sedate from the opposition. 9.15 was the world record. It's now 8.94. Smoothly does it, Streaker, but the pace and knee bends of RC1 triumphant in another world record. Streaker's time important because the bronze will go to the faster of the two losing semi-finalists. A new world record here for RC1, 8.94.
Gripping stuff there. Now let's go down live to the Technodrome to find out who's going to join them in the final. Andy, not an event for those with sweaty palms.
No, definitely not an event for sweaty palm people. And I have to say, I'm now looking forward to this semi-final because it has my favourite robot of all, Skeletron. Ray, lovely robot, but you're really up against it here, aren't you?
There's certainly a lot more competition this time round. Yes, some very, very good robots I've seen on the rope climb, yeah.
I really hope you go through, but I've got to be honest with you. I think Ascender's going to do it, and Murray, you must be happy that you're up against Skeletron. I mean, she's a slow old robot.
Yeah, it's a brilliant piece of engineering. It's great to be up against it. We'll see how we get on.
I just don't think the old girl's got the legs. I think your robot is going to absolutely shoot up there, and you're going to be in the final against RC1. You're only one event away from it, mate. Just win this semi-final, and you will be in the final, and you will be playing for the gold medals, right, team? That's what you got to do. Just beat the old girl. That's all. She's an old girl. She's past it. Good luck, teams. And I'm getting out of the way.
There's nothing wrong with old girls who are past it. Thanks very much, Andy. Now over to Barry for the action.
Power up.
Interesting description of Skeletron, certainly. But it's slow to move. Ascender 2, making it to the top. Skeletron going at her own pace and will be beaten 14.4 for Ascender 2. They were the runners-up last year. Skeletron, best design last year, is battling here for bronze and should make it, and does 27.69. Ascender 2, a bit of a wiggly worm up the rope, but very effective. Can it quicken up sufficiently when it takes on RC1 in the final? Skeletron has to settle for bronze this time. No doubt who's favourite for gold.
So your money's on RC1. I think it's obvious.
I would have to say that, but anything could happen out there.
They've set two new records so far in this competition. Do you think they can do it again in the final?
Well, RC1 has a very, very elegant mechanism. It's got an automatic ratchet, so it doesn't have to wait and think and stop. It just goes zooming up automatically, and it's got a model racing car motor, which is designed for speed and lightweight, so it's got a lot of advantages.
Thanks, guys. Remember, if you've been particularly impressed by any of the robots you've seen today, you can help. Choose the People's Robot of the Games by voting online at the Robot World website. And here are the robots you can pick from today's competition. Sisters of Murphy, one of the best designed robots to ever appear on Techno Games. Bumblebot, so unfortunate not to win today's heat, but a remarkable machine. Coming up on tomorrow's programme, we've got full metal jacket action in the heavyweight sprint, more from the assault course and the swimming, and live coverage of the natural rope climb final. You won't want to miss it. But that's the end of today's events at the Technodrome, where we saw how the mighty have fallen when Skeletron was bumped out of the competition. A new hero started to emerge, though, as sumo champions. Big Bro made a great start in their hunt for a second gold in the tug of war. The robots are advancing. You can run, but you can't hide. Unless, of course, you go up some stairs or over a cattle grid. Good night.
If you'd like details of how to take part in Techno Games 2003, call 08700 100 678 for an application pack. Or if you have a text phone, dial 08000 15 33 50.